Hello. As you're joining, I'm trying to pin my comment. Good. So that you know what this live is going to be about. Hello and welcome to another live with me and with Kelly. Kelly is going to tune in from Ireland, and we're going to talk about the importance of sleep and how to get our kids into routine. Ciao, Jare. I'm just hearing lots of noise here, and I'm going to try to lower down a bit the comments so that I can actually see Kelly when she joins, because her half of the screen is actually in the part where the comments are popping out. And that's a bit annoying because I really like to look somebody in the eyes when I'm chatting. And maybe at some point I might switch off the comments and then turn them on later so I can hear see your questions. Only because I really, really love to pay attention to her. So I'd love to just... This is from my experience yesterday. I'm not seeing her yet. So I hope she's going to join us soon. In the meantime, how are you all? I'm gonna also, when I finish this live, hopefully before 1 hour time so that I can save the video, I'm going to tune in again and speak in Serbian for all those who are joining in from Serbia in Serbian language. Dobro večer svima, samo da vam najavim da ću nakon ovog live-a da se uključim još jednom i sa vama porazgovaram na temu onoga što smo pokrili na engleskom, tako da nećete propustiti ništa. To jest ne bih voljela da propustite jer mislim da će vam značiti. I'm waiting.
Hello.
And there she is. Hello.
Hi.
How are you? Thank you for joining me.
I'm good, thank you. Sorry, I was like, where's the request button? But it appeared eventually.
Well, you've done great. I mean, Helen yesterday was struggling a bit, so today it's much better. Thank you for joining us, and thank you for taking time, because I know this is such a busy time for you. Lots of parents calling, and you're volunteering as well and helping your family too, because you're a twin and your sister has twins as well. So lots of twins around, and actually Kelly is specialized for working with twins, which are the problematic kind of well, she doesn't think so, but I think.
No. Double trouble. No, not necessarily. It's more of a challenge, but I like it. And yeah, I am a twin, so I can relate to them. But yeah, it's super busy time. But I'm blessed to still have work. A lot of people don't have work. So, but a lot of people are taking advantage of this time to try and sort out maybe night times and routines, or maybe the routines went a bit wobbly when the child's routine went a little bit off track. So yeah, super busy, but all good.
So just to kind of introduce to all of the people who joined, you're a pediatric sleep consultant, right?
That's right. Yeah.
So what does that mean?
Okay, so a pediatric sleep consultant specializes in sleep for anything from newborn. Personally, the oldest child I've ever worked with was 6 years old. So it can come in different ways. Like, some parents realize that, you know, they've had a baby, it's a beautiful experience, but maybe mama has to go back to work at 9 months, and they realize that at 9 months, you know, we can't just like put Baba in a creche or get a childminder. They need some kind of routine. So they look that far forward. And then others maybe experience like difficulties from 4 months, and then others are all going good, and then all of a sudden at 18 months the little one is having parties all night long. So at different stages people contact me, and I've been very lucky to be able to help the parents that come along. But there's no set plan. Like, what works for one family is not necessarily going to work for the next. So we find a little routine that's realistic. It's like a diet. If you don't like broccoli, and I'm a dietitian, it's not going to work if I tell you to eat a lot of broccoli. family. So it has to be realistic for that family. You know, there's no point in saying do the bath at 6:30 when they're only in from work at 6:30. You know, so we figure out what's going to work, and then we guide the child towards that. So yeah, but it's not only like sleep related. What happens in the day really impacts what happens at the night. People think, oh, we just put Baba to bed and we do a bit of training and that's it. It won't work unless the day is complementary to the night.
I've experienced that, and I have to say, first of all, I know that I'm not the only one, but many kids have lost their routines now during the quarantine, and that's why you are quite busy now, being called by so many families and parents who are losing their minds, staying at home with kids and trying to work and also have the kids follow their routines, and the kids are picking up the stress.
Absolutely.
And picking up the collision between parents in terms of parenting styles, which we were discussing the other day, because me and Novak have different parenting styles. And then on top of it, if the kids are not sleeping well during the night and you still have to get up in a certain morning hours and start working and being a good parent, that's really, really tough.
Absolutely.
And I called Kelly just a few days ago because I've noticed that my little one, Tara, has lost her routines, and she has very good routines, but all of a sudden she just went cuckoo. So she's not sleeping in the afternoon, and she's definitely not keen on sleeping during the night. So it's been really stressful. But this is just a mild case, I would assume. Then you have plenty of more serious cases that you're handling. Can you share with us a bit?
Well, they're all serious. Like, every child needs sleep. We need sleep as adults, but like for their immune system and for their brain development, they need sleep. So when the routine goes a little bit off part, and sometimes it happens after travel, like not just during a pandemic, but after travel or after sickness. So say, for example, a 15-month-old child who was poorly, and they didn't eat very well during the day, and all of a sudden, you know, they cried out, oh, let's give them a bottle. Very quickly, that can turn into 4 bottles at nighttime. We all know a 15-month-old doesn't need 4 bottles at nighttime, but it can go down this slippery slope, and then it's like, oh, we don't know how to backpedal, and that's kind of where I come in. You can't just stop those boppies. You've genuinely created a hunger habit for that child, but also now they're super confused. You've taught them that they cry out and they have a boppy when they were sick. That was fine. But now they're better, but they don't understand that they're better. So we have to think from the child's point of view. So yeah, there's loads of different cases and different things that, you know, whilst you went off track, you know, it's better to get back on track as soon as possible rather than let it completely unravel, because the child will be super confused. And then you have to fix all of the different things that fell into place, maybe putting extra songs on, bringing them back into the living room to watch Peppa Pig, going out in the car for a drive. I've heard it all, and there's no problem. They did it because it worked once, and then all of a sudden they don't know how to undo it.
Yeah, like the other day I played the lullabies for, I don't know how you say that in English.
Lullaby, yeah.
Lullabies. And I turned it on for Tara, and she in for the afternoon nap, because I thought, okay, maybe because of the dogs barking and us being noisy, she cannot sleep well, and it worked well. So the next day I go like, okay, I'm gonna do that, and everything's gonna be perfect. And it wasn't, because she goes like, I don't want to sleep, turn off the music. I'm scared. I'm like, oh, come on, just sleep.
Yeah. And that can be anything from a lullaby to a drink of water. Like, I'll often meet older children who, you know, they say, Mama, I'm thirsty, and Mama comes in and gives a bottle of water, and then Mama's like,
yeah, because you don't want to torture a kid, right?
Absolutely. So then you're kind of like, you know what, just rather than crossing the hall 5 times a night, just going to leave a bottle of water in there. And then what happens? Bottle empty, Mama, more water. And it's not even a thirst issue anymore. It's they know how to bring Mama back in, or Dada back into the room. So all of a sudden you're like, uh-oh, now we're doing room service 6 times that night. Is she really thirsty? Or the top comes off the bottle and we have a little pool in the cot. You know, just a way of kind of getting a little bit of attention, which is lovely. Give them attention, but please not at 4 o'clock in the morning.
No, I have to say, I've been going around being really, really angry because I feel like if her sleep is disturbed, I go crazy. I just start blaming everybody. I'm going like through the house and like, shh, shh.
Yeah, yeah. Well, you know, that can happen. And when parents ask me, you know, are we being selfish by wanting sleep? I'm like, you're probably a better parent when you sleep well, and your child enjoys you more when you sleep well, and your child is a pleasure to be around when they've had the sleep that they need. So no, you're not being selfish.
Yeah, I feel like there is a conflict right now. Obviously, I had two kids, and with the first one, I was very strict, and it really worked well. And he's now more of a kid who is compliant with when I tell him things. He knows that I'm a bit tough. And with her, I went the conscious parenting mode, which was very soft and explanatory. Like I was like always cuddling and always like, okay, I'll be there for you, whatever you need. And I can see now how I have no answers for her cleverness. Like she, I don't know. I can give you an example. Say I would go into the room because she's crying full power, and then she would say, "Oh, mommy, I tricked you." And I'm like, what? She's 2.5. She just said that. Like, what? And then you start laughing because what can I do?
Yeah, of course. But I see that a lot. I have an example from recently. A mom rang me and she said, Kelly, I twin boys, and you know, I only have two pairs of hands. Dada works away a lot. I was on such a great routine, and the boys slept through very soon. Great little routine. Then this D-back comes along, and because it was a singleton, it was a little bit looser, and also she was number 3 then in the family, you know, but very difficult to work the third child around, you know, the twin schedule, different age groups. So so yeah, it's trying to find what is going to work, you know, for that family in that situation. You know, are they going to crash? Is there a childminder? Is there a nanny? Is mama working from home? You know, whatever it may be. So but yeah, it's something parents think, oh, it's the first child syndrome. You have to get a sleep consultant, first child syndrome. I recently worked for a mama with a 9-month-old who had 3 other boys, and then the 9-month-old. When I worked with her, so
she had 4 kids. Please do tell me she had help in any way, like a cleaning lady at least.
Nothing. This woman was super tired, but did amazing. So all the boys kind of started to act up. So we did a little bit of positive reinforcement, got them back on a little routine. And then we focused on the 9-month-old. And 2 weeks later, all bubbles were in bed. All children were in bed by 7:30. So
how do you do it? Do you have a magic wand?
Special potion? No. Just sometimes when you're so tired, you can't think straight. So she actually, I'm going to be honest with you, she rang me on the way back from the doctor's office. She had gone to the doctor saying, I think I need a little bit of help. I'm so sleep deprived. I can't cope. I can't function. And the doctor actually said, I don't think you need medication. I think you need a little bit of help. Now she was looking into maybe getting an au pair, an extra hands, because Dada was away a lot. But in the end, the routine fixed everything. So she knew what everyone was supposed to be doing at that time. And she did amazing.
Well, I don't know who I'm told that I've recommended you. And then I said, she's like a baby whisperer. She needs 2 days to figure out your kid. And then she will personalize a perfect way to have your child back in order. And at for instance, the other night when I went to the crying technique, you know, I wanted to check how, why she's doing things the way she's doing. And then you can see another parent, which is my husband. He goes like, why are you torturing the child? Give her the water. I said, I already gave her. She kept on crying because she was like, I need water. I was like, 2 minutes ago in your room, you had your water. What the heck? And then because Novak is sleeping and I'm with a stopwatch walking around like, okay, she's crying 2 minutes. Now I have to go in. What am I going to come up with as a solution? Because I don't have answers for everything.
Yeah.
And so this is what I really appreciate when you kind of prep me for all these scenarios, and I can just I can come up with a good solution. At least I don't feel like I'm completely naked there in the room, because she does tend to say, okay, mommy, so did you come to pick me up? Are we gonna play? She starts talking straight away, from the full cry to the, oh, hi, you came in, how are you?
Which shows you there was nothing wrong. She was just looking for your attention. So
but at 4 a.m., right? We don't need that.
4 a.m. I know. And that's the thing. That's why I ask parents when they go through this phase, and it's a fantastic developmental phase. You're like, oh my goodness, your words are great. You've got so much vocabulary, but I don't really need to hear them at 4 a.m. Thank you kindly. But what can happen is, and I've heard it, you know, after sickness, you know, they've been through a little sickness and mama's been putting the hand on the head and they're like, mama, me hot, you know, and you're like, oh my goodness, my child might be sick. I'm going, no, there's nothing wrong with you, you know, or I'm hungry. And one night you make the mistake of kind of going, okay, I'll get you some toast or some crackers or something. My poor child is hungry. What's going to happen the next night at 4 o'clock in the morning? You know, mama, I'm hungry. So I tell parents,
they're picking it up also.
Exactly. So tick all the boxes before bed. Obviously, this is for an older child. So you reinforce. So when they're getting their pajamas on, point at their tummy and go, oh, look, you had a good dinner. Your tummy's full. Let me check your head. Oh, you're all better. Here's a drink of water. Tick, tick, tick. Anything else that could possibly come out at 4 o'clock in the morning that I can tick the box, you know? So tick all the boxes. So then it doesn't pull on your mommy heartstrings when you hear, mama, I'm hungry at 4 in the morning. So, because that's what happens, you know, your instinct is, oh my God, my child is hungry, I must attend. But all of a sudden that can really unravel your nights. That couldn't come to like 1 o'clock in the morning it happens, then, you know, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, I'm hungry. Or even when a child is being potty trained, you know, going to the potty at night, and I see this a lot with older children that I work with, they're like, I need to go wee-wees. Okay, we'll go to the wee-wees. And they're like, I got a little bit of attention there. You know, it's only little, but I got it. All of a sudden, every hour, wee-wees, wee-wees.
So just to kind of put these things into a perspective of any parent, because, okay, I have a 5-year-old and a 2.5-year-old, but basically the sleep training starts from?
So I wouldn't say sleep training as such. I would say if you want to go on demand, by all means go on demand. You know, do what suits your lifestyle. If you feel like down the road we're going to need a routine, start working from that early on. Like as a maternity nurse, all of my babies sleep through by 12 weeks old. Tara slept through at 11 weeks old. Okay, and she was breastfed. Okay, so all of my babies can sleep through by that, which means they get all of their feeds in the day and they get one dream feed at night. And we drop the other dream feed when they're gaining weight, and all the other feeds are substantial enough to get them through the night. So they're guided from very early on. So we only actually sleep train when the child has become highly reliant on the sleep aid. So the soother, the boob, the bottle, rocking, whatever it is. If they can only go to Sleepy Town with that sleep aid, at 9 months old, they're going to need it every 45 minutes to go back to sleep. Okay, so like I can't find a soother in the dark, and I've been doing this on and off for 20 years. You know, you're doing like the body sweep. Is it behind the neck? Is it behind the bum? Where is the soother to pop it back in? So if we've to put that much effort in, the child really needs to activate the brain to find it, and then they're fully awake. They pop it in. They're like, I'm awake now, so I'll call out. So I would say you should never have to sleep train a child, but if they become highly reliant on sleep assistance and you say, like, realistically long term we cannot cope with this, then as parents you make a decision to say, okay, we have to fix the days, make sure our naps are in place, our feeds are in place, and then we sleep train.
So in a way, if we have, because I know for a fact that there are many parents right now wondering, okay, well, my kid is out of routine and he's, I don't know, 20 months, 15 months, whatever. How long does it take for me to consistently apply a new routine that it will, you know,
7 to 10 days. You can turn it around in 7 to 10 days. And I have many cases. So I had a Baba who, a little one, 17-month-old, started her routine 2 weeks ago. We made a few little tweaks. And after 10 days, so on Friday night, she started her sleep training. By Sunday night, she slept through. No soother, had her new little comforter, well established, new little routine in place, went down for the naps, No problem. 2 hours. I got a text message on my work phone saying, should we wake her up? You know, that never happened to them before.
Well, that kid was probably very tired.
Well, it's all about putting the wake windows in the right place for the age. If you put them down too early, the wake window's far too long on the other side. If you put them down too late, they're only going to have a short nap because they went down overtired.
Mm. Yeah, that's true. Because, for instance, if my kid does not, if she's overtired, she wakes up at 5 a.m.
There you go. Yeah, and I see that a lot. So when a child goes to bed overtired, they do have early wake ups, and often they have a couple of wake ups before midnight. Some of them are shout out worthy, so you'll hear about it, and others it's just a lot of restlessness before midnight, before they fall into that kind of deep sleep. So, and that's not a nice way to be rolling around the bed. We want to kind of have a nice relaxed sleep at the beginning of the night.
That's true. Well, I'm just wondering because in a way, for everything to work out, there has to be the partners, in crime, meaning that both parents are on the same page. They're both overtired, not just the mommy, and mommy is complaining. It has to be both, so that they both understand why we are doing this way, yes, rather than leaving it to be spontaneous and then, the baby cries. So
yeah, I think it's fair. It's more fair for the child.
I'm just going to switch on the light here because I forgot. Go ahead. Sorry, but
getting very romantic.
Yeah, okay, here it
is. So I think, for the child actually, as well as the parents, but the child has to know that both parents are on the same page. It shouldn't be good cop and bad cop. At bedtime.
I'm the bad cop.
Yeah, and that's not a nice way to feel. I know my own mom felt like she was bad cop and dad was good cop when we were growing up. Still love and respect and the same. I'd probably fear my mom if she said no quicker than I fear my dad. So, but you don't want that. You want a level of consistency. So if she says, one more story, all of a sudden it's one more story, and it's 9:30. And, maybe dada allows that and mama doesn't. That makes mommy seem a bit mean. We don't want that.
Yeah, what I've understood from you is that it's good to lay down everything ahead, so yes, that you tell your child, okay, we're doing 2 stories, one me, one you choose one, I will choose the other, and then mommy's gonna put you to sleep, and that's it.
Yes.
But then what if your child says, no, I want another one? And okay, if we decide the story is finished, but then you put her to bed and then she says, I want cuddles. Can you do this? Can you put... So what do you do?
So with the whole 2-story approach, what I would say is after a couple of nights of just saying, mama's story and your story, or sometimes if they have a cuddly Teddy, I'm like, Teddy gets to pick one and you get to pick one. So after a couple of nights, they know that there's only 2 stories, so they get used to it. So you might have to say no a couple of times, but it's generally speaking, when they're very clever, Teddy will pick the short one and the child will pick the Gruffalo or something really long. Hide that one. No, I'm only joking. So again, tick all the boxes. Let's have a cuddle and let's have our story. So mama, I want another cuddle. Okay, if you want to give one quick fix, okay, but try and kind of say, right, darling, we've had our cuddles, we've had our story, we've had our drink of water, we've had it all, and then go ahead, because she's tired, and if this goes on and on and on, she's going to become overtired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, true. True.
Confused and overtired. But that's not a nice combination.
It's just there are so many different children with different needs, and I'm always fascinated how it always comes down to simple techniques that you can always apply if you just understand the environment. And so when we talk about the sleep and the importance of the environment, everybody has to take into consideration, where is that child living, what kind of space is around her when you're going down, when you're organizing their bed routines. Is it a light room or is it a dark room? Is there a noise around? I mean, you can speak about it, or I think you can probably summarize it better than me.
Yeah, so the room is obviously, I encourage, like, for older children to put the toys in a toy box to signal that it's not playtime anymore, especially if maybe their room is the playroom as well. So, you know, close away the toys so they're not appealing, especially when the child moves into their big girl bed or their big boy bed. You know, you look on the monitor, where are they? Oh yeah, they're playing with their dolly on the floor. So so put the toys away to kind of reduce that temptation. But also, when the lights are lowered, it signals to the brain to release the melatonin, which is the sleep hormone. So don't just do it when you go into the bedroom. Like if you're in a bathroom, so if you do bath as part of your bedtime routine, which I strongly encourage, it's a lovely way to, you know, break up the evening and signal what happens next. And children love that kind of routine. But if you're in a bathroom with really clinical bright lights, you're delaying the release of the melatonin. So go with the light over the mirror. It's usually a warmer light. I'm not saying like candles or anything, but if you can like lower the light a little bit, it's going to signal to the brain to release that melatonin way before you even enter the bedroom environment. So but look, I've worked for people in New York who live on Central Park, and every 2 seconds it's like Nina, Nina, Nina. You know, I'm not putting on noise machines. That is their environment for their childhood. They have to get used to that. I grew up close to the airport. You know, I had to get used to that.
Oh, well, that's hard. I mean, for us as a travel family, I'm so grateful that I got to work with you and to call you for all the troubleshooting problems. I would like to also address a few other things that are just, they're not related only to the sleep, but also to the children maybe complaining about sleeping in the cot, you know, or jumping out of the cot, or jumping out of the buggy, or whatever it is, like say the car seat. I know a lot of people out there who are struggling to keep their kids confined to a certain space because the kids would love to be everywhere. So what do you do about that?
Okay, a couple of tips. If you see a child who is still young enough that needs to go into the buggy, into the stroller, okay, you don't just give up on that. They don't want to do that anymore. So if you try and put them into the buggy and they turn into like an angry octopus, okay, you're like, whoa, arms and legs everywhere. Okay, just do a reset. Take them away. Okay, give them something to hold. Can you hold my bag? Don't give them the phone. Okay, they don't need a phone. Okay, can you hold my bag? Can you hold my little coin purse? Here's a toy that you only ever see in the car, you know, or in the buggy. So they're like, ooh, I haven't seen this in a while. If it's just a toy that they see all the time, they're going to throw it at you. Okay, so they're like, ooh, this is good. So try and kind of calm them down and put them in a bit distraction. But if you as a parent decide you are going into the car seat or you're going into the buggy, they're going in. Okay, because if you kind of say, okay, walk, hold my hand, walk, that will then relate to the cot. So when they cry or resist going in, they're going to expect the same reaction from you. So, and the high chair is one I hear a lot about. Parents say they don't really like the high chair, or they scream to get out of the high chair. Again, that's going to soon relate to the buggy and the cot. So any place that we put a child. So my reaction is, as a nanny and working in,
I've lost
because
you.
then you're teaching them the behavior. You must escalate and I will rescue you. What are we rescuing them for? It's a lovely high chair. They're fine. Okay. So what I would say is try and get them before they get bored. Okay. Oh, well done. Wipe our hands, our face, get down. Well done. If you missed it, you missed the window, and we're crying and giving out. Say, okay, oh, what's over there? Is there a birdie on the tree out there? Will we go have a look at the birdie? Try and get them calm and then take them out. Okay, so that you're not feeding the behavior of high escalated behavior to out. And again, that's the same with the car seat. You know, if you pull up, you turn the key off in the car and they know they're home. Rah, rah, rah. Go round to the side of the car to them and go, okay, will we go see, you've got dogs, I'd say, will we go see the doggies? Are they in there? Will we go see? You know, or anything at all. Just distract them, have them calm. Well done, and take them out. Only 2 seconds and take them out. If they won't go.
But this all relates to the fact that you as a parent have to be very present. You cannot it's so, because you know, you have to observe the child fully present right there. I'm with you. I'm seeing what you need and I'm answering your need.
Absolutely. Yes, but we're teaching them patience as well. And that's just the phase they go through. So if you address that phase, that'll go away. They won't do that anymore. But if you feed that behavior, it stays there. So just be aware of those kind of behaviors getting out of control. So try and kind of catch them. And I do hear from parents, they're like, the only way they'll eat their dinner is by having the iPhone in front of them. You know, what
Yeah.
about, what if your iPhone broke? You know, what if, you know, anything, you couldn't charge your iPhone? How are you going to manage? They don't know what they're eating if they've got an iPhone in front of them. Engage with them. Yum yums, lovely. I'm having mine, you're having yours. You know, so engage with them. That's what they want.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. They're like yeah, a lot of things are very easy as a solution, but I know for a fact that many parents would say, and I just today spoke with one who said like until their child was 5, he slept with her in bed because it was impossible. He would just shout and scream, and her and her husband couldn't just agree because one would always fall weak for the
Yes.
cry, then
Yeah.
would bring the child in and say, I just can't listen to this. I'm too tired. Let's just bring him in.
Yeah.
And it's been like that for 5 years. And she said, basically, we tried everything. And I said, you did not try everything. You were not consistent enough with
Absolutely.
the things you were applying because you were feeling weak at certain, like when I'm tired, I do feel weak and I just wanted things to just, okay, I'll take her.
Exactly. But that's natural. And that's how these habits occur. We're tired, we're fed up, we're like, okay, you know, out you get, you know, or fine, you can walk and hold my hand. But then the next day that we need, it's like jackets on a child. I don't want to wear my jacket. Okay, you know what? It's not that cold out. Don't wear your jacket. But then the day it's like really cold, I don't want to wear my jacket. And you're like, no, it's really cold. You have to put your jacket on. They're like, no, that's not their fault. They're just confused. So I would say, you know, if you're going to ask them, would you like to wear a jacket? But if you're going to tell them, then I'm sorry, we're the adults. We know it's really cold out. We're putting our jackets on.
I'm just skimming through the comments right now, and some of them are very interesting. For instance, what do you do when the child decides to drop a nap? And when is the right time to drop a nap?
Okay, so the
And my
morning
dog
nap,
is constantly calling to just come in, so I'm gonna just let him in.
that's
And you,
join in. So the
yeah.
morning nap actually drops away between 13 and 15 months around. But I have had a child, a little guy, who dropped it at 11 months. Another little girl who dropped it at 12 months. But in general, and again, every child is different. In general, the morning nap goes away between 13 and 15 months. But when you drop a nap, the morning nap, you have to allocate quiet time. They can't make it all the way from breakfast to their next nap without some chill out time in the middle. So a little walk in the buggy, a little cuddle on the couch with a few stories, some quiet time. The big nap, which is the one in the afternoon, that's right in the middle of the day, that's very complementary to having a good night. So that big nap stays there until almost 3 years old. Some keep it till 3.5. Some drop it at like 2 years and 8, 9 months, but you know, they still need it. It shrinks as they grow older.
So what is the signal? Because what I'm, for instance, my child might be dropping a nap. She's 2.5, and I'm pushing her, and I'm struggling a lot with her.
Okay.
So
So
do I
so
keep up?
so if you're offering quiet time, it's better than just dropping it. Okay, so you're offering the opportunity to have that nap. And if they don't take it on a regular basis, then we probably say, okay, we'll drop it, but we still have to offer quiet time in its place. So recently I had a 2-year-old, 2 years, 11 months, and the parents had dropped the nap. But by 5 o'clock in the evening, she couldn't cope with the day. She was a monkey, and it wasn't her fault. You know, she was crying, there was tantrums, she still needed a nap. So after her lunch, I said, can you bring her for a little walk in the buggy? And she fell asleep. And she'd have 45 minutes, and she could make it. Hello. She could
Sorry,
make it.
there's the little one.
Ah, hello. So she could make it then to bedtime happy. Bath time was lovely. So she still needed a nap. So you have to read your child. They all get tired in the evening, absolutely. But if they really can't cope without becoming overtired, they still need their nap, or at least allocated quiet time.
So is it possible to say every 3 days we're going to have a nap? Is that possible with kids or not really?
No, they don't understand that. What I would say, after lunch every single day, we're going to either have a walk or we're going to have some quiet time in our room. So I would do the same thing every day. So some days, you know yourself, some days they're more active than others. So they're go, 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 go. And then other times in a normal world, not now, but other times you're bringing them to the shopping center, and then you're bringing them to, you know, you do your chores and everything. So they don't burn off all that energy that they have. So they're in the car seat or they're in the stroller. So I would say offer it until you're well and truly sure that it's gone. But even when it's gone, still offer some quiet time to break up their day.
What is the quiet time? Somebody's asking just now, if you can clarify.
What quiet time is different for different children. So some children, quiet time, sit on the couch and read a few storybooks. You know, go into the bedroom and just say, okay, you're gonna, you know, have some quiet time, listen to a song. For other children, quiet time can be a walk in the stroller. Just, you know, no toys, no nothing. Just look at the world, and if they fall asleep, they fall asleep. That's fine. So nothing overstimulating. So some children are very good at quiet time when they're ready to do like little puzzles, and they're just kind of, you know, simple puzzles, nothing that's going to challenge the brain too much. You know, some of them will color, some will do independent play in the corner and be fine with that. They're relaxing. Whereas others, you have to guide quiet time. Come on up here and we read this little story, you know, or we, you know, just something that they're not going to be overstimulated.
Okay. I have lots of people with babies here.
Yes.
Some of them are asking questions. Okay. So first we need to clarify there are differences in terms of babies, because some are breastfed, some are breastfed and supplemented, some are, you know, just formula fed, which is supplementation. I know it's probably easier with the formula fed children because it's easy just to, you know,
when you have a visual, yeah, so it can be easier, yeah.
And you know how much the baby has eaten in a way.
Yes.
While with the mothers who are breastfeeding, they're tired, number one. Yes. Second of all, they don't know how much they've had their child, and they don't know the quality of their milk too. And on top of it, they're constantly judging themselves by the quality of milk and if the child is sleeping enough, etc.
Yes.
So I know for a fact that for you would be much easier to advise a family that is bottle feeding, because it's much, you know, straightforward. Yes. But at the same time, I know a lot of moms, and I salute you all. Well done. You're really persisting in trying to breastfeed your child, because you find that that's the best connection you can have with your child, and it's the most natural way to feed. So how do you support the moms who are struggling? First of all, tired. Second of all, their child is constantly waking up during the night.
Okay.
The child is sensing the mom's smell and the milk smell, so it's constantly asking for the boob. Okay. All of these things, I know you know all too well. I'm just kind of giving that we know what you're going through as a mom. So it's just a matter of what kind of advice do you have for them. Thank you for guiding me through my own troubleshooting when I was breastfeeding, and thank you for keeping me on that road, because it was really tough at times.
You did.
She's talking from experience.
Yeah, you did really, really well. Yes, as a sleep consultant, it is easier for me to troubleshoot when there's a bottle, so I can rule out the hunger issue. But I'd say 70% of my clients are mamas who are breastfeeding. Okay, and whether it's like, you know, newborn to 3 months, I've had a 2.5-year-old over in the US who still has boob feeds. But when mama kind of says, okay, I think they're getting enough in the day and I need my sleep more, then we work towards a routine, or baby needs to sleep more, or it's no longer a feed, it's just like a quick latch on and a back to sleep. So some moms are okay with that, and that's absolutely fine, and that's beautiful. Other moms, that really disturbs their sleep, but also they find, because of the lack of sleep, their milk supply can reduce, and because of the stress and the pressure, you know, so it's an overall picture that we look at. So when I'm guiding a mom who's exclusively breastfeeding, you know, I'll say, look, slowly space your feed. So if you're normally feeding every 2 hours, can we get to 2 hours 15 minutes? Can we get to 2 hours and a half? And once we get to that, that's lovely, because we know we can do it. And then we translate that to the nighttime. You don't, whatever you do not just stop feeds. Okay, you can't do that. You'll get mastitis. child will be stressed out, mom will be stressed out, and dad is going to be stressed out as well because everyone's stressed out. So you don't just drop feeds, but what you do is kind of say, where would we like to be? And you work slowly towards it. And I've helped parents, and it might take 4 weeks for us to get there, but we do get there. So you can't just change it. It's not a magic wand. You can't just change it overnight. It's not fair on the child to all of a
So
sudden
just to repeat, is basically you move things like if the child was used to be fed at 7 o'clock, you move it to 7:15. Stretch the child. Maybe if he's crying or he's ready, just entertain him, distract him.
Yeah,
but not with mom. If mom can have help, it would be amazing, because mom is also a clock that is like the boobs are straight away, you know, like ready
absolutely.
to give. So
yeah,
daddies or grandparents, whoever is there.
Yeah, and your instinct will be strong, so strong to say, I need to feed them. But if you want to break this cycle, you know, and you're the mom and you don't have help, I would say use the stroller as your friend, okay? So the Bubba's not in the arms, and try and get the nap as close as possible to your new feed time. And then when Bubba feeds well because baby's well rested, so has energy to feed, okay? So that they've a good feed. What can happen is mama will give a breastfeed, baby sleeps for an hour, wakes up, and can only last about an hour, and then is tired again, possibly not hungry, but we confuse hunger with tiredness, so goes back onto the boob again and falls asleep. So then what we're doing there is we're really encouraging a feed to sleep association, which then translates to the nighttime. So yeah, go slowly. If you have help, fantastic. If baby wakes up a little bit early, can dada play with baby for a few minutes just to get an extra 5 minutes, you know, or maybe can we go on the play mat, you know, something like that. But it is possible to do it without tears. People think, oh gosh, you know, you should feed on demand. If that suits your lifestyle, that's great. I meet mamas who are trying to breastfeed, and I know that their supply is low. They might have sore boobs. There's loads of different things. They might have postnatal depression. There's loads of factors. So although some moms really, really want to do it, sometimes it's not entirely possible, and it's not right for anyone to say, just keep trying, you know. So I would say, let's try our best, let's work together, let's slowly move towards it, and then we do get there in the end.
So I'm gonna say, because I'm just seeing now, and from my yesterday's experience, I have to end this live at a certain point so that we can save it. However, I see lots of people asking questions. Kelly, would you be willing that I restart another live so you can answer a few more questions? Is that going to be okay with you? Perfect. Okay, wonderful. Guys, I'm going to save this live so that everybody can join back again and listen more. I'm going to have another live with Kelly just a minute later. And then after, I'm going to do also in Serbian for you because I know you need it as well. And I'm going to give my best to transfer all the knowledge I've learned. Okay, so I'm saving this live so nobody loses anything. Okay, and I'll see you in a minute.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, I'm waiting for you guys to join. I'm trying to pin the tweet, pin the comment. Okay. Glad to see you are all here. And I wasn't able to save for some reason. It's just, it's a glitchy app. Let's just say it. I'm going to, but I hope somebody from my team has filmed it like yesterday. Kelly, can you just send a message, please? Oh, Inga, hi. I know you have questions, so I'll make sure to get there. I'm just waiting for Kelly. Sleepy Stars. I hope you're all enjoying. Oh, thank you, Mickey. You have it. They have the video. I just saw from my team. They said that they have the video. I'm trying to save the live, but for some reason, the is a bit glitchy. I'm assuming everybody's on live right now, so it's very difficult to pick up everyone's requests. Okay, here we go.
We're back.
You're doing amazing, Kelly. Thank you so much. This is so helpful. I'm sure many moms are right now like writing notes, and thank you.
I'm delighted. I'm delighted because, you know, it just a few tips can make a big difference. So I'm delighted to help.
Okay, so I've seen questions such as, can I sleep train? And this is from Inga, so that's why I'm saying she has a 1-year-old child. She was breastfeeding for 7, 8 months, and the baby is very heavily dependent on her, and she's very attached. And of course, both husband and her are very soft in sense that they don't like the baby to cry too much, right? So she was asking whether she can sleep train her baby at 1-year-old. And I already have the answer, but go ahead because you've said already.
Yeah, so once the parents are ready, absolutely. You cannot, and here's actually a really important point for any parent who thinks maybe down the line I will sleep train. You have to implement a different source of comfort. Okay, you cannot take away a primary source of comfort, which could be the parent, and leave them with nothing. That's not fair. So with I would say implement a snuggie teddy. I call them a snuggie teddy, little teddy with a blanket that hangs off them, you know. And for an older child, it would be a teddy that's kind of the size of your elbow to your wrist, so a little friend. And every time they do go on the boob, or they get the suit, or whatever that thing they find comfort from, the bottle, the boob, the suit, or every time they get that, offer the snuggie teddy. They'll probably be like, what are you doing? Okay, but they will start to connect that positive association with that. Once that is implemented, and that can take about 2 weeks to implement. And that's what, if a client comes to me and says, you know, want to do a bit of sleep training and they don't have another source of comfort, they have to introduce it. So when we do the sleep training, you're not just like popping them into the cot and walking away. They have a little buddy in there with them, so they're not on their own, that they find comfort from. And they might kind of have a cry for 30 seconds, wah, and they'll snuggle in, wah, they'll snuggle in. So you can see they're finding comfort. So they have something there that we've offered to them. So, and once parents feel safe enough to give that teddy to the child, I would say, don't just leave it in the crib. Okay, when you're implementing it, it can come in the buggy. If it's an older child, you can join in for lunch. If you're implementing, once they sleep well, then the snuggie teddy stays in the cot. If you only leave it in the cot, they're only going to see it once or twice a day if you're lucky. So you overuse it to implement. Play peekaboo with it. Boop, you know, make it fun. Okay, so yeah, if they're going to do that, I would say implement a secondary source of comfort, and when they're ready, make sure their day is in the right place, and then they can proceed with a little bit of sleep training.
And a good tip that I've got from you was to have that snuggly teddy next to you as a mom, so that it has your smell, because the baby has very sensitive smell. So it's good to have your smell next to the baby. So
yeah, absolutely. So sometimes I get mama to, you know, have it beside her in her pajamas or something to really kind of establish that scent. And yeah, when a baby is in the crib, I'm helping a family at the minute, and they're in a 1-bedroom apartment. They're waiting for their house to be built, and mama's breastfeeding. So the child is waking up just because mama is there. So I said, look, when Baba wakes up and we know they were fed an hour ago, we know they're not hungry, and we also are working towards this routine, have a cuddle and put the snuggie teddy in there. Prep that child for when it will just be the snuggie teddy. You're still going to go in and out, but they're just not going to be fed asleep every single time.
Yeah. So to again structure it more for parents, say, as we know, the child is developing fast. Every night you put your child to sleep, the next one wakes up, so you never know where. And even though you think you're in one routine, the routine is constantly changing, despite what we may think. We want to freeze our child into this, okay, it's working now, so let's just keep it
yes.
as it. Because at one point you have to, okay, now we have to what's the word, when the child weaning, the weaning period comes, and then you are like, okay, should I drop the bottle now, should I do this, what's going on? You're confused as a parent. Oh, I'm not cooking well, my child is not interested, should I do this, etc. Then there is the part where you're supposed to drop the night feed, you're supposed to drop one nap because there were 2 naps in the day or more. Then there is the child is more active, more walking and crawling, and so it's more tired and more cranky and more hungry. Lots of different things. And so for each of those moments, what's the best way for mothers to inform themselves Because I know you don't really recommend to go on Google, but what are the best resources we can use?
Yeah, I'd say if you go on Google, if you say what and you get 20 different answers. So stay off that.
Okay,
Okay.
I'm losing you. Can you repeat again? Because I think we've lost your connection
Can you
now.
hear me now?
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So whatever you do, stay off Dr. Google, because if you Google a question like how long and what time should my 6-month-old or 18-month-old sleep for, you're going to get 20 different answers for the one question, and you'll be more confused coming off Google than you went on. My best advice is try and read your child. Okay, so if you're offering a nap and they're not taking it, might be time to drop it. Or maybe we might need to move it a little bit. So my best advice is during the developmental stages, try and read your child, what your child needs. So say one of the first milk feeds on schedules that I give to go away is the 11 a.m. feed. And how I do that is I get mama to offer the feed. So if it's a breastfeed, I'd say, okay, offer one side, offer the solids, and if they want the next one, that's great. You know that they're still hungry. But often the child will kind of gravitate towards the food when the weaning stage comes in. So naturally they will go towards it. So if you offer it, it can happen that way. But when parents say, what time, what stage should I, get my sleep on track for my child? They're always going to be, for a long time, they're going to be teething, they're going to be crawling, they're going to be rolling, they're going to be standing. So if you wait for the perfect moment, it will never happen. So you can do it at any stage, get your sleep on track. But with regards to tweaking their routine, my best advice is try and either find one source of information that you trust. So, I hope that you come to me. So you find one source of information that you trust and you go with that. What you don't do is ask your sister and your sister-in-law and your Auntie May and your Granny Mary. So you don't ask 20 different people, because they'll all have different experiences, but their child is not your child. So try and read your child where possible and find one source, whether it's a book, whether it's, a GP, a pediatrician, whatever it is. Find that source that you trust, that works for you, and stick with that one.
True. But I have to say, for instance, just two different experiences with my kids. For instance, with Stefan, I was following lots because it was my first child. I didn't have any experience, and I was very stubborn and didn't want to follow other people's suggestions. And so I was reading a lot, and I was in contact with the Institute for the Achievement of Human Potential in Philadelphia. So I was very stubborn with their techniques. And also I was taking Stefan to pediatrician. But since he was breastfed, I've realized that the charts that are at the pediatrician's office are showing different kinds of weight that my child will never achieve because he's a breastfed child. The ones that are the charts that are in the doctor's office are made for the moms who are supplementing their child with formula, which I can't, compare, because that's a proper protein there. And this one is like sugary, nice stuff that is not stuffing my child. It's not going to get any heavier.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, with breastfed babies, you often don't get the same stretches because breastfeeding can be hard work for children. So they get tired when they're on the boob. The bottle is easier for them, so they tend to kind of consume more because they're not working as hard to drink. So, but again, it's a guideline. I meet parents all the time, and I work with twins, as you know, and triplets, and there's a wide variation. Like you might have a really sturdy little baba and then like a skinny mini. As long as they're growing out of their clothes and they have wet diapers, they're fine. As long as they're, they're happy, they're well fed, they're absolutely fine. So, anything that you see, any charts that you see, they're a guideline, and they will say somewhere, if they're a good chart, they'll say, this is a guideline. So, and any report that I send to a parent, I'm like, this is a guideline. This is plan A. If we have to get to plan C before we get what's right for your child, we will do that. So take those kind of things. Yes, keep in mind that's a kind of rough guideline, but don't get obsessed with it. I get a lot of parents who are obsessed with like numbers and figures, and I have moms who like breastfeed then weigh the child. You know, I don't think, unless there's like severe weight issues, I wouldn't necessarily think that's necessary. You'll probably drive
But one
yourself
thing that
mental.
helped me, and I don't know what your experiences are after me. I didn't check with you that much, but for instance, I was during the nighttime, I was expressing milk with a pump,
Yeah.
and that helped me know how much my child is drinking during the night. We kind of had a rough an idea, and I was also expressing milk after every feed or before every feed
Yeah.
in a way, just to get the milk going, which was very helpful. And now that could be helpful maybe for moms who have help and they can express during the night, so somebody can bottle feed their child so the child does not wake up too much or doesn't fall asleep on the boob or something like that.
Yeah, yeah. So I would say to moms that are breastfeeding, if they would like, daddy sometimes wants a turn as well. He wants to be able to put Beba to bed. He wants that connection that mama has, you know, as much as possible, and wants to be able to help. But also it's nice sometimes to kind of say, you know what, I'll just going to express, and if you could do the night feed, that would be great. So I would encourage moms that if possible, in reality, for people who don't have help around, especially now, it's probably just mama, dada and children. So for moms who are breastfeeding, I would say offer a good boob feed in the morning, you know, offer again one more time straight after, see if we are full after our burps, and if baby's finished, pop the pump on and see if there's anything left, and start to collect a little bit, and you can start to use those ones for a bottle practice if you're going back to work at 9 months. You cannot just turn around at 9 months old and go, okay, the kitchen is closed, you're going on a bottle. They're like, whoa, what now? The what? So you have to kind of know where you're going forward. And I do encourage, I know it's probably, as a pediatric sleep consultancy, I do completely support breastfeeding. But if you know that, you know, I'm only going to do this for 6 months, we own our own business, whatever your story is, don't wait till 6 months to offer a bottle. Start, you know, maybe at 4 months offering like a mini little practice bottle, so it's not a stressful situation later on. And how you get the milk for that practice bottle is by pumping after feeds is ideal. Don't do it just randomly in the middle of the day. You're going to impact your supply for the next feed, but also you're going to send your wrong signals to your body. You're going to get blocked ducts, mastitis, all these horrible things. So try and stay in a rhythm with your baby.
So in a way, introduce small changes one after the other and be consistent, so that it doesn't happen one day it's a change and the next day you are too weak to persist. One thing that was very helpful for me, and I don't know if moms can relate to that, but before I had a baby, I was reading a lot about that baby's language is cry. So you don't want to stop your baby from crying, from expressing themselves, because this is their way of communicating with you. They don't know the letters, they don't know different ways. So we shouldn't be afraid of a cry. We shouldn't be in panic when the baby cries. There are different ways of the baby cries, and we can always differentiate when it's a serious one, when it's a bit of a moaning, and these kind of things. And there was also what else was there? It was very helpful. Basically, I just had to not think that I'm a bad mom if my kid is crying, because this is something that we are constantly like, people are looking at us when we're in a public and the child is screaming or shouting, and then all of a sudden you're like, okay, take that candy or take this, and just
I actually see that. As you know, before the world closed down, I do travel a lot doing what I do, and I am always interested on airplanes, because you cannot help but feel that the entire airplane is looking at you having an argument with a crying child. Okay, so I would kind of say, the people who are looking at you, it's either a sleep consultant, or no, it's either parents who have been there and they're like, oh, been there, I know what that's like, or there are people who haven't had children, so that's okay, they don't know. React the way you would in a home environment, okay? Because if you're stressed, they're going to stress out, and they're not going to respond to you the way you want them to do. Yes, there's different cries. It's the I'm tired. Oh, it's nap time. That's why we're having a little bit of a cry. And then you're right. There's the cry where your mom gut tells you there's something wrong. There's something wrong. You always respond to that cry, you know. But the thing is with parents, and it's often with child number one, the child might let out a cry and they run in and they pick them up. Whereas if they could have waited maybe 30 seconds or a minute, the baba might have just gone back to sleep. So, but it's kind of like going against what you feel is natural. That's why I encourage like a baby monitor if baby's in a different room, so you can see them. If the eyes are closed, or okay, hold on, don't rush in. They might figure this out. But if the eyes are wide open and we're ready to party, we're going in. But try not to respond to that cry with arms. The same as the high chair. Okay, so I would go in and go, are we awake? Did we have a good sleepy? You know, get our snuggy teddy, play peekaboo, and try and get them calm before you scoop them up.
Good, good. I mean, I'm happy that we got to touch all these things and give some kind of as somebody said, that I also, doesn't matter how much money you have or how much help you have, every single person struggles with this role, because this is the most complicated and complex role you'll ever have in your life, because the emotions are involved. I mean, I think, if I can speak with Jelena, like 10 years ago, who was a bit judgmental towards parents who were doing certain things the way I wouldn't have, like in my mind thinking, if I was a mom, I would never have done this. Oh my God, if I had like a coin just to slap me, like, shut up. You don't know what she's going through.
Exactly.
Well, we agree on that. Look, there are some questions for the twins. How do you, I mean, this is for me also a topic that is a taboo topic. I'm like, I hope I never get twins. I hope I never get and I hope I don't have any kids, but okay. I'm good with 2 right now. What do you do with the kids when they're both together on the same routine? How do you feed them? How do you as a mom manage like breastfeeding or even bottle feeding, anything with 2 kids?
So breastfeeding.
How are you?
so I think it was like, oh, I can't remember how many sets of twins I had last year, but I had 2 maternity sets of twins, which means that I went there at nighttime. Parents got a little rest. If mama was breastfeeding, she expressed, I get milk in the boppy. For me, I can feed them, burp them, get them back down in 45 minutes. But I've been doing this a long time. Okay. What I would say is, kind of judge when you think they're going to wake up and try and go to the stronger feeder first. Okay, so scoop that baba up, start your feed onto the feeding cushion, baba number 2, while this one digests a little bit, you've given a little burp, but there might be an extra one in a minute. Feed twin number 2, again, burp, pop one number 2 down, back into number 1, and you just kind of go like that and you get the hang of it. Now occasionally you've just scooped up one number 1 and you're giving a feed, and next while you hear you're, oh no, okay, if you use a soother in this situation, okay, but you have to learn to be patient, because mommy has 2 hands. Okay, so it's not the end of the world if that baba's kind of waking up. Now, I'm not showing off. I can easily feed 1 twin here and have another one on a breastfeeding cushion and do it in a safe way. Again, it's practice, and other twin moms get there, but when they first bring the babies home, it's like, and I would say when they're tiny, always pick them up to feed them. When they're stronger feeders, around the 6 months, you can just prop feed them, so they're sitting in their cushions and you can feed the 2 of them. Around the 8-9 months old, they can hold their own boppy. But when it's breastfed, and I've lots of breastfed twins that I've helped sleep through, it is just a matter of kind of trying to make your life easier, not waiting until they're going wah wah wah. So by going to them first, scooping up, it's not a force feed. Parents think it's a force feed. It's a dream feed. They're like, whoa, I was a little dream. Mama came along and fed me. So I would love someone to come along and give me a burger in the middle of the night. I'd be delighted. Like, whoa, that was a great dream. So by doing that, by doing a dream feed, later on when the time is right, they don't miss it because they never actively woke for it. So you're doing what's going to, it's long to, what's to say, short-term pain, long-term gain. So later on down the road, well, they never woke for it. So it's very easy to drop. I mean, you've worked with triplets too, and with 2 sets of twins and all kinds of tricky situations. And I know you came out as a winner and the kids were sleepers. So that's so encouraging for every mom. I can just say there is a way for your kid to sleep if you just follow a certain guidelines. And I'm going to again remind you that
it's never too late to have a good sleep for both of you, the kid and the mom. And it's good idea to check the environment, and observe your child when is in the most calm state. What kind of environment provokes calmness in the child? Are you an anxious parent? Because if you are an anxious parent, I'm sorry to say, but you are sharing that with your kid too.
Yeah.
I know it's very hard to accept some of these things, but it's true. And there are ways to calm yourself so that your child can pick up. Maybe, just a good walk now that we don't have that one. Play
Put
some
a
nice
little bit of music on is nice. A song that you like. If you can relax and sing the song, it might distract your mind a little bit and you'll be more relaxed.
Exactly. So there are ways to calm. I mean, people are meditating as well. Now, I don't know if you can do that when the three kids are shouting and the baby's in your arms and you're like, ah! And the daddy's not coming home, or the daddy is coming and being like, hello, family. Why aren't you happy to see me after a whole day? And
yeah, absolutely.
okay.
Just one thing that I'd like to share with people, when a mom or a family parents contact me, they'll say, are we doing the right thing? Should we be sleep trained? I was sleep trained when I was a child, and I still love my mom, and I think I'm relatively sane and normal, so I have no resentments whatsoever. But the people who contact me, generally speaking, they send the emails at 4, 5, 6 o'clock in the morning with the title on it, help. Okay, these people are not emailing me or my fabulous PA Shan. They're not emailing us for fun. They're not looking for a consultation to have a chat. They're desperate. It shouldn't have to be that way. But also, if they get, why are you getting a sleep trainer? You should just co-sleep. La la la. You don't see what this person is going through. Every parent has the right to make the decision for their family, for their child. No one else has the right to do that. Okay, so that's a point that I would like to get across to all parents. Whatever you decide is right for you.
I agree. I agree 100%. And there will be certain preferences you'll have, and you'll want to, keep certain things. And then you will ask your sleep consultant, say, okay, I want to keep these things. Is this possible, given that I want to have my child sleep trained? And then you can, negotiate maybe if it's not
exactly.
Really, yeah. Okay, well, I would love to finish this chat because I think we're gonna go forever. But there is this one question that I have to, I guess, ask because I can sense the stress. My 2.5-year-old wake up 2 or 3 times a night at the same time mostly. How do I get her to sleep throughout the night? I have the same problem, so we'll let you know soon. I have 3 kids, 7, 5, and 3. The 3-year-old cries a lot, stubborn, and wants her way out by screaming. How do you deal with that?
Wait, sorry, give me the last one again. Sorry.
So the 3-year-old child is stubborn and wants her way out by screaming. How do you deal with that when the child is screaming her way out of things and you just can't deal?
Okay, so first of all, you have to make sure before you do any sleep training, you have a source of comfort well implemented. So little buddy, so you can say, hand on heart, we've given something there. 3-year-old, chances are is in the big girl cot or the big girl bed. So it would be a case of making sure that her day is in the right place, that she's queued up. You cannot just go, oh gosh, it's bedtime, up we go. No, you have to do a little bit of routine. You have to wind that child down so that they accept it. I've helped many 3-year-olds over the years, and often it's a case of TV, bed. The blue light from TV can impact the production of that lovely melatonin hormone. So I'm saying, look, there is screen generation. We cannot do anything about that. But use TV when you're cooking dinner and you need them out from under your feet, a cartoon. Don't have it on right before bed. That can really impact. Some children are super sensitive to it and others are okay with it. But just don't take the risk. But the 3-year-old, it would be a matter of, if the parents decide, okay, you're staying in your own room, you don't leave that child for prolonged periods of time. You would basically let them shout for 20 seconds, back into bed, 20 seconds, back into bed, 30 seconds, back into bed, slowly, in and out, in and out. So they realize you do come back, but you're no fun. And after a while, what they realize that it's nicer to be in their bed with their comforter rather than being shouting in the hallway.
Okay. Well, Kelly, you've been so helpful and so inspirational as always. I'm so grateful to know you and to have you as my support. And I am directing every parent who can and feels like to go and visit your page and see so many testimonials by so many families that have benefited from the sleep training as well. And so I don't know what your future plans are, because I know your list is growing and I don't know you can manage all of them. But if you ever do any webinars or any kind of group consultations for many to join that can afford that kind of advisory from you, it would be
Yeah,
amazing. And I'll be so happy to promote it and share it with people who follow me,
thank
because
you.
I know we benefit so much from what you're sharing.
Thank you. Yeah, we definitely are. We're super busy at the minute. There's a book in the pipeline, but also the webinars. And also, we have a package at the minute that it's Let's Get Started. It's for under 6 months who just want to get on a little routine, and it's discounted now because of the pandemic. So, that parents have time at home with young babies to try and work towards. But I will be doing, Zoom chats with parents. I will be doing webinars. So just follow, your social media, my social media, and we'll keep them up to date.
Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Kelly.
Okay,
And
thank
thank
you
you,
so much.
everybody,
It's
for
lovely to
joining
talk to
in.
you again.
Thank you, everybody, for joining in. I will end this live and start a new one in Serbian for those of you who want to listen in Serbian. Okay.
Thanks, Anna.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Bye.
Bye bye.